With over 10 million records sold, 56 Dove Awards, and 5 Grammys under his belt, Christian recording artist Steven Curtis Chapman has done it all. With over 20 years in the business, 16 studio projects, 45 number ones, his songs have touched many over the years. So when news hit on May 21st, 2008, that the Chapman's youngest daughter, 5-year-old Maria Sue, had died in a tragic car accident, and his 18-year-old son, Will, was behind the wheel, an outpour of sympathy and support came from the millions of fans who have followed Steven Curtis Chapman over the years. Recently, I got to sit down with Chapman as he kicked off his Canadian tour in Halifax. This was his first Canadian television interview since the death of Maria Sue, and as we talked about the loss of a child and the lessons the family has learned through this very difficult time, it's clear that the Chapman family's faith is what has helped them tremendously.
It's the first time I've seen a lot of you since we walked through such a very, very dark place, valley.
How's the family doing?
You know what? We are really miraculously well, and by the grace of God, we are not only alive, but and not only have we survived, but I feel like really we're in a new season of we feel like this year, 2011, is kind of a new beginning for us in several ways. And you know, our last year was really, really a hard year. I think for a lot of different reasons. I feel like, you know, for us it was sort of the numbness wearing off of our tragedy of 2008, of losing our daughter, and you know, it's God gives you, as at least our experience is kind of this anesthesia of the heart in some ways, where you kind of numb to some of the just deep pain and all of that, and for a season. And then that starts to wear off and life starts to pick up in momentum, and then you just start to feel this, you know, huge gaping hole that you know isn't gonna really be healed until heaven, and how you're gonna live with this pain and this just empty place in your family and your heart. But truly, you know, God really, His grace has been, and we are experiencing it continuing to be enough, be sufficient, you know, to carry us through. But our son, Will's doing amazing. Family, our little girls are doing well. People in Canada have prayed like crazy for us. We've felt that and sensed that, and that's probably as much as anything why I want to do and need to do these kind of interviews, to be able to say to the people that have lifted us up and prayed for us and cared for us from a distance, just how grateful we are and how vital that's been to our just continuing to be able to move forward.
Not only made by you, but saved, redeemed.
Since the accident, Steven hasn't been the only one in the Chapman family who has spoken openly about the pain of losing 5-year-old Maria Sue. Mary Beth Chapman, Steven's wife, has written a book entitled Choosing to See, a title based on the last word Maria wrote before she died.
The day that Maria passed away, she had apparently done some artwork, and I was gathering some stuff for the memorial service, and Steven went into the dining room where these little tables are, and there was a paper, and there was a flower drawn on this piece of paper, and it was a 6-petaled flower, and one of the petals was colored in blue, and when you flipped it over, there was a little orange butterfly, and the word that she wrote was See, S-E-E. And I mean, that's the very thing that we had been praying. God, just in the midst of this horrific thing, we need to see you in this. It is so hard to have faith and to have hope.
And while the book isn't solely about the loss of their child, Mary Beth gives the reader a glimpse into that dark day and those following the tragic events of May 21st, 2008, writing, "No mom can come up with words to express the ripping pain of losing a child, and no words can do justice to the mysteries of God in the midst of tragedy. When people ask how we're doing, the first thing I always say is, I want Maria back. I want my son Will Franklin not to have this chapter in his story. I want my children to be healthy. my family secure.
And there was something
Even Caleb Chapman,
that was so
Steven and
close
Mary
to our
Beth's
eyes,
oldest son, who has started a band of his own and opens
And I
each
felt
night
like
of the
that
tour
kind
with
of
his brother Will on drums,
of
spoke
what we
candidly
want to
about
do,
the effects the
in
accident
May
has had
2008.
on his family.
We were so close to this accident and to this mess that we couldn't see what God had in store. And
Take us back to May 21st, 2008, and that day.
Our oldest daughter, Emily, had just gotten engaged, and so we were kind of, my wife, being the planner that she is, had started planning for that, and so we were all at home except our oldest daughter was not there. She was away at work, and Will Franklin had been doing a little school audition for a musical or something up at his school, and was coming home, and the girls, 3 little girls, were out playing on the playground in the backyard, and Will, I think Maria wanted to be on the monkey bars. She couldn't reach the monkey bars, and wanted her sister to put her up there and show he wasn't strong enough to lift her up. And Will Franklin is the best big brother in the world. I mean, the girls all know that, if nobody else, has time for you, if you can get to Will Franklin, he'll stop whatever and play with you. He's just that way. He's always been kind of the one most connected to him in the playtime and all of that. And so they saw him driving up the driveway, and Shohana told Maria, "Hey, here comes Will. He'll put you on the monkey bars." So she just took off running for Will, and Shoei, part of just all the process of, working through the grief and the trauma was, Shoei tried to tell her to stop because she kind of saw, she was running towards the car, and Will just, kind of the way the driveway is, he came around the curve, but just didn't see Maria. The car he was in was up high, kind of a truck, and he just didn't see her, and hit her there in the driveway. And as far as we, of course, I was there and came around, and my wife and I, tried to do CPR and all of that. And as you can imagine, the trauma is a big part of the process of dealing with too, because our daughters were both there and kind of witnessed what happened and
you're worried
tried
about
to
Will
stop
as
her.
well,
Yeah,
of course.
and of course at that point, Will is after Maria, and once we realized that she hadn't survived, our concern was, Lord, we've lost one child here, and I can't imagine how we won't lose at least the soul and the heart of another one, because he loved his little sister so much. And so, thus kind of began our long journey of almost 3 years now of just walking through that. And we have people who even saw, 2 different ones who were very unlikely people. One was my wife's dad, my father-in-law, and he said, I saw Jesus come, when I heard the news, I just saw in my mind's eye Jesus come down and grab her right there in the park, in the driveway, and take her to heaven. And someone else shared a vision that they saw. They actually sketched it out, of just looked like an angel or someone coming and just scooping Maria up from the drive. And so there's comfort for us in that, and just knowing that she was immediately with the Lord.